and understand that I had a home play assignment for the pod, and that was to watch the Disney version of Pollyanna. So the question becomes, is why would I have you watch that? What was the purpose in watching this movie? And you can type your responses into the chat window, and we'll go from there. Because there was a very particular reason why at this point I had you watch it. Now, we've done, I believe, 4 sessions in Mind Design, and there's a lot more coming down the road, other sessions as well. There are other programs that are coming too. And so those of you in the beta program have access to each of those. And as they make themselves, I don't see anybody typing anything other than highs. So I asked a question, so please type an answer. That would help me out a great deal. By the way, this is the first time we're doing this way. So we're doing it to work out the bugs and to get it so that it's easy in the future. So, okay, awesome. Mike says the glad game. Take whatever happens and find the good in it. Okay, all right. Who else? By the way, do you each see the chat window? Either there's an incredible delay on this or nobody's, so Tony says yes. Did Tony type an answer yet to my question? Why did I have you watch the movie? And Mark? I told other people to download the Zoom app. Maybe they're... So this is a little bit of a little stiff right now. I'm feeling, but it's all good. It's all good. It's just a little stiff. I can't tell. I saw Richard in the Mind Design pod saying he has Zoom on his phone, and I just typed and said, "Well, we're live in the pod." And I'm waiting for Tony. I can't tell if Tony's here or not. I'm waiting for Mark. Can't tell if Mark's here or not, or who else is here. So whoever is here watching and paying attention, please type a hello. Robert's supposed to be here. Richard's supposed to be here. I think Ponzi was supposed to be here. Maitre was supposed to be here. So I don't know if they're getting in or not. I mean, that kind of thing. I know that Mike said he couldn't make it, and I think he was the only one. So I'm looking at the room trying to find out, who's here. And I'll wait another minute or two, and then I'm gonna fly. But I've been waiting for answers to my questions, and I'm going to assume that those who aren't answering don't have a clue. How about that? Is that a nice thing to say? See, I'm learning the ropes here too, and there's things like chat, unmute, and I don't know if people are muted or unmuted or able to get in or got in. This is why it's a test. There we go. Some people said they might be getting here late. Okay. Then we should have started late. That would have made more sense. All right, well, here's the deal. I asked you to watch Pollyanna for a very specific reason. And that reason is that Pollyanna, the little girl, has, as Mike says, the glad game, finding the good in everything. One of the most valuable approaches that we have was popularized thousands of years ago, and more recently popularized by things like neurolinguistic programming and psychology, and there have been books written about it, but there's the ability to reframe. Our beliefs, our perceptions, our mental filters, those things that we delete and distort and generalize on, those things that create the world view that we have, those filters are perceptual filters. And most of us, well, let's say all of us, very few of us actually think in real time. It's working on YouTube? What does that mean, Tony? It is working on YouTube. Okay. Anyway, the point is that the perceptual filters that we have are such it shouldn't be on YouTube. I don't know why it would be on YouTube. This is supposed to be a private webinar. So I don't know why it's on YouTube. So it's confusing me. But anyway, we'll handle that after the fact. We have perceptual filters, and we don't think in real time, most of us. What we do is we operate off of old tapes, old past prior conditioning inside our head that have been there, their memories, their tape loops, their old pictures, their old reasons, they're everything that we got when we grew up and during our conditioning. So when we look at the world, we very rarely actually intersect with the world in reality, in present time. It's the saying that you only see a face once, and then the rest of the time the brain fills it in, that you're not actually seeing people. And you're seeing the brain recreating, and that's why you don't even need to see the entire face in order to recognize the person. You see a little bit of it, and the brain fills it in. This is stuff that the ancient mystics knew thousands, hundreds of thousands of years ago, and science now has been catching up with validating these things. And so the point of looking at Pollyanna is to say that in spite of the fact that we are habitual and conditioned and pretty much stuck with these perceptual filters and these mechanisms, our own brain conditioning is habitual, reliable, automatic processes, that with awareness, oddly enough, with a conscious mind and with awareness, we can begin to steer that process. We can begin to even change that process or create a new conditioning for that process so that it works better for us, even if we're never completely present. Even if we're never completely free of programming, we can trade one form of programming for another. We can trade old, limited, bad programming for wonderful, marvelous, incredible programming. We teach our brains to go down new neural pathways. So Pollyanna, for example, could find the good in everything. And this, in terms of mind design, is what you and I can do, but not only can do, we ought to do. And we ought to do it frequently. We ought to do it all the time. You see, there's an interesting notion, and that is that here's a frame, a perceptual filter for you to try on. Everything happens for a reason. Now, does it really? I don't know. I mean, I have my own opinion about that, but I don't really want to express it. I want you to have your own opinion. But I find that the frame, everything happens for a reason, can be incredibly valuable, depending on how you use it. So if you say everything happens for a reason, and that reason is to serve me, that reason is to benefit me, that good ultimately always happens because everything happens for a reason, then anything and everything that ever happens in the world, good, bad, right, wrong, black or white, blue or whatever, happened for a reason, and it happened to your ultimate benefit. That's why when people look back on their lives, they find deep, terrible, emotional pain and crises. Oftentimes they look back and say, you know, if it hadn't been for that, I wouldn't be who I am today. That's actually the best thing that ever happened to me. They look back on the event and go, wow, now I understand that was for my good. Or they go, well, I wish it wouldn't have happened, but as a result, I now, am much better off. You don't have to wait to do that. If you understand that everything that is happening for a reason and it's for your benefit, there's another mindset that I like to use, and that's I'm choosing this. It's not only happening for a reason, but I'm choosing it. I'm choosing it in the present here and now, unconsciously, automatically, out of my conscious awareness, but I'm choosing to go through this set of circumstances for my ultimate good. Is it true? I don't know. I have my opinion, but I don't know. So the question becomes is, if everything is good and you're choosing it, why would you ever say anything to the contrary? And that's because you don't believe it. You haven't accepted it. You're not operating from that frame. Most people operate from the frame that things happen to them, that bad things happen to good people and good things happen to bad people, and it's all outside themselves, and there's no control over it, and, just try and make your way through it. Well, that's being a victim to circumstances instead of being in charge of circumstances. And you can be in charge of the circumstances. If everything that ever happens to you, you went, wow, how cool. Life would be incredibly different. Do you get that? The only thing that makes life suck for people is the opinion or the judgment or the label or the past preconditioned response or reactions that they have to it. So anything can be marvelous. I've said this before, and you've heard this before, and that is, before human consciousness ended up on the planet, there were earthquakes and fires and floods and ice ages and heat waves and tectonic plate shifts and the whole thing. And nobody called it a good or bad day. Nobody said these are wonderful or marvelous. But once human consciousness came on and started to have property and things and possessions, then if a flood came away and washed their home and possessions away, it was a bad thing as opposed to a good thing. And it makes a certain amount of sense. I mean, who wants to lose their stuff, right? But another person can say, well, I mean, I did meet a person who said, I didn't need that stuff anyway. I just had it around for years. I mean, it actually helped me out. It cleaned out, my entire life, and it gives me a way to start and begin afresh. And I was like, wow. I mean, that's amazing. You turn on the news and somebody's house burns down. Most of the time they're like, oh, I don't know what we're going to do. I get it. I'm not saying that we shouldn't have empathy for them. But the point is, a few people will go, whoa, what a load off of my mind, I mean, I just collected junk. I didn't need it anyway. So the point is that Pollyanna was able to find the good. She was able to reframe the situation. Oh, how lucky you are to have discovered this. Oh, how marvelous this is, and this is what we do need to begin to do in order to make our lives that much more sumptuous. Is to begin to see everything as a blessing. That is, you see everything as an opportunity. The biggest problems that you have, the weirdest things that happen to you, the stuff that you normally would say sucks. If you can suspend that judgment, if you can create a delay between that knee-jerk reaction you have and what was going on in the world, then you have a way of being free of all of it. And then you can assign your own meaning to it. That's what reframing is about. It means you assign a different meaning to the circumstances, a different set of values or different beliefs. If you always do things the way you always did, you always get what you have always got. And so in order to create your best life ever, you need to be able to see through your eyes at circumstances and go, wow, this is incredible. What an opportunity, even when it's raining crap. Okay. Now, here's an interesting notion for you that I want you to consider, as we go along. There are circumstances in the world and influences. And there's a way to consider these in that, when there are circumstances like, think of it this way. Sorry, I have been shifting some windows here. I'm getting used to this. The most powerful water becomes, because water flows and you can have turbulent rapids, but the where you can generate power is when you dam up water. All right, think about that for a second. You've dammed up the water, and you release it and the releasing of that dammed up water it creates energy, creates it's really like a safety valve is what it is. There's all this potential energy are stored up behind the dam, and we let out a little bit at a time, which creates energy, but that we convert into electricity. But it's a safety valve. It's like the safety valve on a furnace or a boiler. It's like your teapot. In other words, if you have a teapot, and you capped it tight and you boil it, that water inside might, actually burst the teapot. So they have like a stopper on the top, that release valve that allows this stuff, the steam, to come out. If you think about it as life creates these situations that have tremendously potential energy in them. They can be glorious situations or not so glorious situations, but they have tremendous energy in them. And within this energy, or within these situations, is all this energy. What happens for a lot of people is that they instead of allowing the situation to explode, they release their energy. They let off steam. Okay? And they do it as a way of becoming more comfortable. When everything is turbulent, when everything is churning, when everything is falling apart all around you, when the entire, it's like a volcano, when all this stuff is spewing, there's so much potential there. And none of us really want to face that, especially if it's what we think of as less than glorious, because that's how we judge it in our mind. We judge it as less than glorious. And it's boiling and it's churning. And so what people try and do is they try to release that energy. They try to avoid the problems. They try to get even. They try to not have any circumstances upset anything. But it's out of chaos that stars are born. The universe came about as a result of a big bang. Diamonds are made under incredible pressure. So what I'm getting at is that people tend to think of all these things in their life as something to try and to avoid, to get rid of. They don't want to be tested by fire. When you think about it, so many of the rich people have children who really don't do anything much worthwhile because they don't have to. They've got every opportunity handed to them, and they don't need to do anything. And a lot of people, if you look back at the turn of the century, there's something like 4,000 or 5,000, millionaires in this country, and the statistic was that I think like 60 of them or something had actually gone to school. And the rest, out of the 4,000 or 5,000 people that were millionaires, all became millionaires out of need, out of necessity, out of hard times, out of life's knocks, out of being kicked down numerous times. And often, the people who are born into wealth, the sons and daughters of the rich people, do nothing with the wealth. They become, they have problems with their lives. They get addicted to things. They don't have a smooth, wonderful life because they've never been kicked around. They have every opportunity. So what I'm getting at with all of this, and I'm struggling with the concept, because what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to convey to you that if you're struggling, that's a good thing. You don't have to avoid struggle. What you can do with the struggle is to say, God, I am so blessed. I am so lucky. I don't know what's going on right now, but I know that it ultimately will work for my good. And I'm choosing this tough, turbulent time at this moment to maximize my growth and my ability to choose and to experience all that life has to offer. And from that, great things can happen. From that, you can create wealth, you can create health. So people get sick and tired of being sick and tired of not doing anything. That actually move. I have a saying on my wall: standing is harder than moving. When you're moving and you're moving forward and you're creating and you're making things happen, and you're investing in yourself and you're learning and you're growing and you're doing incredible things, then you have the opportunity to build things that have never existed before for yourself, and to experience things that you've never had to exist for yourself. But if everything is comfort, if everything is easy, if everything is handed to you, which is what most of us want, we want to win the lottery. We want to just not have problems. Those problems are blessings. Those problems are blessings. And here's another frame. You can imagine, because some people do, from eons ago, that before all this existed, you were a consciousness somewhere in the universe. You were a part of source. You were all God. You were all God energy. You were all energy. You were all universe, or whatever you want to call it. You are source. And that the play of Leela through Hinduism and Buddhism and different religious philosophies are such that, you chose this life to experience things, and it's a version of hide and seek you're playing with yourself as source. So you're here, and everything you're going through is designed to wake you up to the fact that you are source. You are God, you are universe, you're a creator, you are powerful, you are all that there is. And if that's true, and I don't know that it is, I have an opinion, but if that's true, then most of us are, minoring or majoring in minor things, as the saying goes. We're not living to our potential. And the opportunity for us is to wake up to who we are, to wake up to what we have going for ourselves, to wake up to an energy that exists inside us and around us. So if your life is chaotic, if it's not going the way you want, go, thank goodness I am choosing this, and look for the good, and use the reframe, the power to reframe, because you are source energy. You are the one who determines. You're the final authority in your life. There is no one other than you who can decide what things are. And you can change your response to any circumstance, no matter how painful or how bad, by changing your thoughts. And so that's what mind design is about getting the ability to change your thinking, to create yourself as you want to be, and to find out how truly powerful inside you already are. You already have all the resources you need to make any change, and yet most people don't think so. Most people never tap into that power or that energy because they're too busy whining and complaining about the situations instead of allowing the energy from within and the situations to catapult them into positivity and into change. Do you understand what I'm saying? Who's still in the chat room here? Who can? By the way, this is question and answer time too. So the point of this was for everybody to be in the chat room so we could say, hey, everyone, and talk. And if you had questions, be able to answer the questions. So the chat room window, if you're not chatting in the chat room, I don't want you to have side conversations, but I want you to comment, let me know that you're here, and questions or concerns that you might have. But you understand what I'm getting at is this. If you were a quadriplegic, and God forbid that you would be, or for anybody who may be, all you could do is lie in bed all day long and think and do nothing else. You would want to think the best thoughts ever, wouldn't you? Would you want to think glorious, wonderful thoughts? Because if you couldn't do anything to alter your situation, you would either be in pain or you would be enjoying it. I mean, that would be up to you, wouldn't it? I mean, nobody else would be determining your mental state. You would be in response to the situation you found yourself in. So what would you choose? You're going to live like that. How would you choose to live? With the weakest, wimpiest, horrible, most negative thinking, or the most powerful, wonderful, majestic, magnificent thoughts? It's a choice, right? Dog shit or diamonds, remember? Now, I'm going to step aside for a moment and say, in the 4 episodes you have, or 4, I don't know what, I can't think what to call them. The 4 installments of Mind Design so far, we're dealing with things to make you feel good and light and enjoy life each and every moment. There's the getting energized, right? There's visualization and affirmations. We talked about some directed questions. We talked about laughter and laughing, and it's all about finding the very best inside of you and getting up each morning and going, I thank God I'm alive. How wonderful this is. How can I serve? What can I do? I am magnificent and I am wonderful. So it's about designing everything marvelous and wonderful. Now, we will have some that do some troubleshooting coming down the road. For example, the Attitude Activator, if you're not listening to the Attitude Activator every day, I don't know what you're doing, because you should be. The Attitude Activator is about activating your attitude in any kind of troubling situations, or using it to feel better when you're feeling good, okay? It's designed to activate your attitude. It is designed to teach you by use how to do the process for yourself, so you no longer need the audio tape. It is absolutely part of Mind Design. And we created it for that very purpose. And it allows you to be going through a troublesome situation and to stop and take a deep breath and begin to look for some resources and to begin to hear and design things in your head that make you feel better. Ask questions, make statements, hear applause, hear people cheering you on. And it's designed for that. So that when you are out in the real world and a situation arises that takes you aback, then stop, take a deep breath, pause, find your resourcefulness and find your inner strength and the things inside your head. Speak only to bless, heal, and prosper, and then move forward. Because standing, like being stuck, is harder than moving. Right? So it's designed to get you unstuck and move you forward. And we'll talk more about that and other ways of doing that in the future. But the point is that if every day you get up and you wake up and you feel the best and you expect the best and you look for the best, does it mean that crap won't happen? No. And that's the point. When the so-called bad things happen, if you think about it, they're there for your growth. They're there for your blessing. They're there for your discovery. They're there for you to transform. So when they happen, you can go, wow, let me find the good in this and reframe it. And the only way you get good at it, make it automatic, is for it to happen again and again. If you only reframe once a year, you'll never master it. And the key to making personal and positive, powerful change is to master these basic principles. If you master the basic principles that you're learning in these 4 modules already, or in the Tesla version, if you're mastering these things now, then you're well on your way to creating the life that you want. But it doesn't happen in the absence of trouble. It happens in the midst of trouble. It happens when all of the crap hits the fan. So when it's cool and the ride is smooth or all downhill, enjoy it, but continue the process for when that upward swing comes, when the crap or the shit does hit the fan, okay? You prepare in advance for those times. It's having a good offense, and a good defense, which is what sports teams do, or the military does, or anyone who's smart does. They have a contingency plan for when things get tough. You don't plan for the rainy day. You plan for all days to be good and know that they are all there to serve you no matter what happens to you. But does it mean that the second you start manifesting good things, like when we get to the law of attraction class and different things, that everything is suddenly going to be miraculous and you're never going to have any problems? No, of course not. Gandhi got shot, for goodness sakes. I mean, you would think, well, hey, he mobilized an entire nation. He was able to create things in his mind, but still somebody took him out. Okay. That was his path. Do I know what it's all about? I have an opinion, but that's my opinion. So don't expect that life will always be rosy, but put a rosy filter on all of life and it changes and it transforms and you do create your best life ever. It becomes an incredibly different experience when you allow yourself the opportunity to change. You have to do two things. You have to decondition yourself from what was, okay, from all that past prior conditioning. Now, I'm not saying you have to go back and dig through it and and sift through it and all that kind of stuff. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying you have to create the opportunity to be deconditioned and then reconditioned, okay? As part of the conditioning process, you withdraw energy from one thing and you put it in another. It's the old saying, if you have two dogs, the one that survives is the one that you feed. If you take the food from this one and give it to that one, this one survives. If you withdraw the food from this one and give it only to this one will continue and this one will wither away. It's the same thing in personal change. It's the same thing with plants. If you withdraw nurturing sunlight and water from this plant and give it all to this plant grows. And so that's what you're doing. You're taking the energy from the old, previous, past conditioning. You're taking it, withdrawing it, you're eliminating, you're cutting it off. You don't want this, so you withdraw the energy, you withdraw your attention, you withdraw your focus, and you put it into what you do want. And that's where you have to keep it. If you keep going back this way, then you're in limbo. It's like one step forward, one step back, one step forward, one step back, one step forward, one step back. You don't get anywhere. So you withdraw the attention and the energy and the focus from what you don't want, what you want to eliminate, what you want to avoid, what you no longer want as part of your life, and you put it into what you do want. Your goals, your hopes, your dreams, your plans, your actions, your feelings, your thoughts, your affirmations. You energize those. This is why it's important to vibe high. This is why we say vibe high. Now, how do you do this? You want to get past your own old social conditioning. You want to get rid of that and train yourself. It's not this, but this, not this, but this. This is the focus. And when you do, your brain learns how to do that in the same way it did. We've talked about this before. When you learn to go to a new address because you moved from one location to another, or when you, in the old days, when you had phone numbers that you remembered, and you used to dial your own phone number, and you had to learn a new one. You substituted, you took your attention away from the old one and put it on the new one, and now that is yours. You put your attention on the new way to home or work or school or wherever, and not on the old one. And that's what you learned. And then your brain continues to deliver that. See, there's no good or bad thinking. There's no good or bad. Thinking is what makes it so. You decide what is good or bad. Whatever's happened to you in the past or whatever's happening to you now, you decide, you choose whether or not it's good or bad, right or wrong, or whatever it is. You are the one determining it. Only you. Yeah, you might have friends who agree with you, but the point is it's inside your head. Everything starts from within you and goes to outside you. You create. So your thoughts create your feelings create your thoughts. It's this loop. Remember, we've talked about this. Okay, so one negative thought creates more negative thoughts, attracts other negative thoughts. One positive thought creates more positive thoughts, attracts more positive thoughts and feelings, right? You are the one who is determining what your life and your circumstances is like. So how do you change when you feel stuck? You help somebody else. You share with somebody else. You do some good for somebody else. You step aside. You withdraw your energy from your problems and help another person with their problems. You put your best foot forward. You stop thinking about what was troublesome and start thinking about what's good. You shift your focus from the problem to how it's a blessing. You move your energy from one thing to the other. And the better you get at moving your energy on a daily basis, each day, the more you and your life transform. If you only do it once in a while, you're not conditioning yourself. It's like, grabbing a barbell and lifting it, once a week. Couple times a week. You're not going to develop the muscles. You need to routinely do it day in and day out. And life is giving you that opportunity 24/7. All the minutes, all the moments, all the stuff. When you get on the freeway, when you go to work, when you go to school, wherever you are, whatever's happening, whatever the chaos, whatever the sucky things are, that's for your good. It's to give you the opportunity to flex your muscles, to condition yourself in a new way. Now, having said, does shit stop happening because you've become enlightened? No, of course not. But it can get better. And you find less to complain about. And you find less things that bother you. And so life qualitatively does get better. You enjoy more. Does that mean that if you're driving on the road that you won't see a car accident, or that something bad doesn't happen, or that a fire doesn't break out in the neighborhood? No, all those things are still going to happen. See, but there's no good or bad. There's just what we think. If you think everything is perfect and I'm choosing this and I'm source and I'm one and I'm one with all I am, then the timing of the universe is always perfect. It's always perfect. Anything and everything that happens to you is a good thing. Do you get it? And when other people are having trouble, your job isn't to walk in there like, hey, feel great. Your job is to meet them where they are and help them to vibe higher, okay? Now, and this is what we've talked about before. If you're feeling down, you may not jump from feeling down to feeling blissful. Maybe too much to ask, but you baby step your way from one to the other. How? You continually withdraw your energy from the issue or the problem or circumstances that's less than glorious and begin to put it toward a more glorious situation. It's a baby step, like taking one bite at a time. Okay? You change what you're doing. You add novelty. You interrupt the pattern. You go for a walk. You go, you laugh instead of cry. You do something. And guess what? You're probably not going to feel like doing it. Okay? That's the inertia, the conditioning you have to get past. You have to go, when I don't feel like doing something, I've now learned that that's a huge signal for me to do it anyway. Okay? In my other life, I'd be going along, everything would be great, and then suddenly I'd feel depressed or sad or angry or situations or disappointed or whatever, and I think, oh, well, it's all over, it's all bad, it's a waste of time, I'm not going to do anything, and I would wallow. Now when I get that, I recognize that there's a breakthrough about to occur, that my old patterns are rising up because there's something there that's about to change. And if I nurture those old patterns, then I will get more of what I don't want. If I change, if I interrupt, if I add novelty, if I do something different, if I do anything different, if I go, if I laugh, if I go help somebody, if I go pet a dog, if I go get a massage, I go eat a good meal, I gift myself. But if I don't change or don't create something, the internal sequences will always remain the same. So what I want to do is I want to be able to change and create new sequences, new neural pathways, new patterns. And in order to do that, you need to be present. You need to become aware of when you're feeling less than glorious and go, oh, I don't want this, so I'm going to do this instead. I don't want that, I'm going to do this instead. It's literally learning to turn your back on those things. And that's the key to all of this. It's shifting your mind from one thing over to the other. It's shifting over to the other. It's shifting over to the other until it becomes a habit. And in order to do that, you have to do it repeatedly long enough until you master it. That's why mastering the basics, that's why it's important to be teachable. That's why it's about getting out of your own way. It's whenever you hear an excuse, I don't feel like it, I don't want it, it's no good, BS, I don't believe that. Realize this is that preconditioned old experience garbage that you grew up with that will keep you from experiencing all the good that is in you and ready to come out, and all the good that's around you, even in the chaos. You see, that's where the beauty is. Somebody else can look at chaos and not see it the way you do. That should tell you something. And you must realize, you must know and become certain that you have already arrived. You already have all the resources. You don't think you have because of your prior preconditioned, thinking from others. You're distracted by social media and the news and circumstances just as you were conditioned to be. But your abilities can't increase because you already have all the abilities. This is what everybody seems to miss. You already have all the abilities, only your awareness of your abilities can increase. Get that? Your awareness of what you are capable of needs to increase. You need to give yourself room to grow into what you already are. You got to allow yourself that permission to release who you are. So don't look for the comfort. Don't look to release or blow off some steam. Dive into the chaos. Go through it. Be ballsy. Have fun. Look for a different meaning, a different interpretation. Exercise your own powers to change your mind, your feelings, and your circumstances. And get this, and this is important. This is why you should help another person. This is why in the pods you should share and contribute and get used to doing that, because you want to be able to declare your experience as if it already is that. To speak, only to bless, heal, and prosper, inspire, and to motivate. To tell a different story. I am wealthy, and I am healthy, and things are going well, and I'm making it happen, and I'm learning new ways. And when crap happens, you don't have to say there's no crap in your life. You say, I have a situation that other people might think is potentially troublesome, but I'm learning to exercise new options, and I'm learning new ways of being, and I'm finding that I have the ability to shift my thinking and explore what's good inside of any circumstance. See, if you don't do this, then you are what you always are. Your abilities can only increase as your awareness of your abilities increase. I say this again: your abilities cannot increase any more than your awareness of your abilities can increase, because you have everything inside you already. You are already arrived. It's like you're already enlightened. You are source. You are God. You are the ultimate. Only you don't know it. So you need to become aware of that and accept it. And the only way you can accept it is to have a taste and experience of it. Now, for some people, that ultimately happens, like with Buddha, where, you get this, whoa. Now everything is different. Transformation can happen in an instant. But for most people, it doesn't necessarily happen like that. But you have all the resources. And again, you don't think you have because of all your previous past conditioning. And you're distracted by social media and the news and circumstances, just as you were conditioned to be. I just got done saying that. This is why you want to share, and you want to uplift, and you want to declare in the pods, because every day that you do that, every day you come in and say, hey, you know what? I just nailed this. I just hit that. I just boomed, made that work. What do you need help with? How can I help you? What can I do? As you're doing that, you're putting your attention on things that work, and you're affirming them, and you're declaring them, and you're starting to tell new stories, and you're putting it out in the world, and you're putting it out in a supportive pod with other people, as opposed to throwing your pearls out in front of people who could give a crap. Your family, your friends, your other people might say, hey, you're nuts to do all this stuff. So you go with like-minded people who support you in it and who you can support in it. The key is to vibe high and to get your energy moving. And it's to behave the changes that you are, not to sit here and think, I am perfect and do nothing. It's to think, how can I do things in ways that allow me to feel my perfection and to be my perfection? See? Now, whenever you think otherwise, just shift it. Declare what you are and what you want instead, and change it, shift it, stop. Take a deep breath. Scan for your inner resources. It's what the Attitude Activator teaches you to do. Things aren't going the way you want. Stop. Take a deep breath and scan for your inner resources. And when you get your inner resources together and you hear the things and you affirm the stuff and you feel powerful and you're feeling good, then move forward. Keep going. Drop into the present. Allow it, accept it, invite it, and allow and accept and invite anything and everything to happen, because anything and everything that happens is there for your good if you declare that it is. If you declare that it isn't, if you don't believe it, then it's not. Because you, mind designer, determine what it is for you. If you want to be poor and broke and upset and angry and not have things work and wimpy and take a long time to change and sickly and all that, then that's up to you. Okay? It's up to you to become aware. So slow down. Don't try and rush. Don't try and hurry. Focus on the good. Got that? Focus on the good. Don't think that you have to get more right away. It's kind of like saying, I have the best meal in the world. I have all my favorite foods. So I'm just going to slam it into my face and eat it all at one bite. Savor it. Make it last. Chew it. Same with this. These little things like or laughing every day, they seem silly and simple. They're excruciating, extremely powerful. That's the power is in the simplicity. You don't have to take a bazooka after a gnat or a fly. Got that? You don't have to marshal all of your resources in order to take care of some problems. You just need to make a minor small change. Withdraw your energy from one thing and put it in another area. Put it in another area. Now, remember the candle exercise with the candlelight or a lit candle, whatever? Why would I have you do that? I don't know if I'm going to get an answer. Chat room isn't really rocking here, but Mark says he can't chat and watch the video at the same time. We could try just with Zoom another time. We're all on video where we could talk and interact. Maybe that's the way to go with this in the future, because I really had wanted this to be interactive, and I am involved in some webinars where the chat room is people are moving it, and if you're not moving it, you know what? That's on you. I can't do it for you. I'm not complaining. I'm just saying you're either all in or you're not. Okay, and it may be technical problems, and I have no clue. Okay, so it is what it is, right? And that's the blessing. But really, this was an opportunity for me to hear from you in real time while I'm talking, and to know what's going on. All right, so yep, Mike. Practice controlling your focus, right? Because what you learn from that exercise is how often your focus goes elsewhere, your attention goes elsewhere. And the goal is to bring it back to the candle flame. It's a form of meditative practice, been around for eons, right? It's to learn to control your focus. It's to learn to take it from wherever else it goes and put it back on the candle flame. Wherever else it goes, put it back on the candle flame. Wherever else it goes, put it back on the candle flame. So that you learn how to shift from one to the other. And when you're not somewhere and you want to be able to shift to there. That makes sense? It's about Yep. You learn to control both your focus and your state of mind. Exactly. Now, there are times when you want to meditate, you don't want to control your focus. You just want it to allow, you want it to let it go, and you want to watch it, and you want to observe it. That's a different aspect of the practice. This, however, when I gave this to you, was to learn to control your focus, to learn to notice when you go off and to bring it back, to notice when you go off and to bring it back. Remember what I said about driving down the road? You know, we all think we're going straight, but actually we're going a little bit this way and a little bit that way and a little bit this way. And we stay within the lines, but we're moving to the left and right. We're always shifting back to center. And that's what you want to do. You want to learn how to shift back to what's important to you, back to what you want, back to where you want to put your energy. This is how you design your mind. But it's not just about your mind. This is what I want to say. It's about your behaviors, because if your behaviors don't change, your results won't change. If you sit in a chair and think, I'm rich, I'm rich, I'm rich, I'm rich, that's a great start. That's the starting place. I'm rich, so that you feel rich, okay? So that you feel wealthy and you feel abundant. And when you feel wealthy and you feel abundant, then you begin to do those things that are congruent with being wealthy and abundant. You don't not do anything. You pay attention to what you're generating inside yourself. You know, rich people don't not do anything. Many of them work long, long hours, but they go, I never work, because they enjoy what they're doing. And that's the key. You learn to work or play out of your abundance. So, remember, when things aren't going your way, you stop, take a deep breath, you shift, you scan for your resources. That's why you have that concentration exercise. That's why to get some energy. That's why you laugh, because when you laugh, you are the most alive. You're changing your breathing. Every part of your body, when you have a good belly laugh, is being massaged. Your diaphragm, everything, your states are changing. Your consciousness is changing. Think about it. You're like totally off balance when you have a really good laugh, and you have to kind of recompose yourself after a good laugh. It changes you. So slow down. Don't try and do everything at once. Don't try and master everything and end up mastering none of it. Take it slow. Focus on the good. And when you're doing this course, just slow down. Savor it. Concentrate. Focus. Pay attention, ponder, wonder, imagine using the principles and the methods. Visualize yourself, doing that. Imagine your ideal self, the perfect you. Act as if you already have mastered this stuff right now. Visualize it. Use through your own eyes what the world would look like when you're feeling rich, when you're feeling healthy, when you're feeling together, when you're feeling confident, when you're feeling joyous, when you're feeling blessed. Got it? Remember, notice it, own it, play with it, stay with it. You notice it. Notice what it feels like when you're on top of the world. Notice it, own it. Yes, this is me. I am this, I am that. Play with it. Continue to do that, and then stay with it. Move from here to here. Move from here to here. The answers are everywhere around you. They're in every situation. They're in every circumstance. They're in every event. They're in every person who pisses you off or who wrongs you in some way. They are your blessing. They are your opportunity. They are your enlightenment and your awareness, if you understand that. A wise man learns from the fool, but a fool never learns from the wise man. Everybody is your teacher. Your exes, your children, your bosses, the bullies, everybody, the pissy barista at the coffee place, so guy or girl who gives you the finger or cuts you off on the highway. I am choosing this. I am choosing this. I am source. I am creating these opportunities for me to awaken. You don't have to believe as I do, but you have to choose the mindset, the filter that works for you, that has you create the best life ever. I have no problem. Some people talk about Jesus, some people talk about God, some people talk about Buddha or Muhammad. I don't care who the name is. I love the Bible. There's so many cool promises in the Bible. Doesn't mean that you have to. I love the Vedas. I love Rumi. I love Lao Tzu. I love Osho. I love all these different people who through the eons have pointed us in these directions. And you know what? Most people will never notice. Maybe in our lifetime. Every moment of this program, every single moment of Mind Design, there are secrets being handed to you. Yet you only get them when you get the release by going back over them. If you're rushed or you're desperate, you miss out. Just stop and slow down and recognize that everything is for your benefit. In any way I can help you, absolutely I will. But this program and the world at large is there for you. You're creating it every moment. It is what you decide it to be. So decide it to be the best. If you want it to be the best, trust yourself. Trust the universe. Trust yourself. Make it glorious. I mean, why not? Right? And it goes back to how you do anything is how you do everything. How you do one thing is how you do everything. So how frequently you share and uplift and contribute to others is exactly what Mind Design is all about, because how you do anything is how you do everything. When you help another person, you help yourself. And that is something that is so powerful and so wonderful and so incredible. When you can uplift somebody, when you can support somebody, when you can encourage them. See, there's so much petty jealousy in the world. If you think about the law of attraction, if you think about cause and effect, if you think about what you put out comes back to you, then somebody wins the lottery and you go, oh, shit, should have been me. What are you putting out there? Or somebody's down and out and they're suffering and you can go, hey, let me give them some love. Let me give them some compassion. Let me give them some enthusiasm. Let me give them some money, or let me help them out. Let me do whatever I can. It doesn't have to be money. But you get what I'm saying? Then what you get back, what you're creating back for yourself are the wonderful feelings you're putting out there. So when you uplift, when you share, and when you declare good things happen for you, you get more of the same. So if you can't share and uplift others on a frequent and regular basis, how do you expect to get the same for yourself? Your transformation comes about by your actions, not by the information that I'm sharing with you. It's what you do with the information. So the point of the pod and the point of Mind Design is to give you daily practice in transforming yourself. Daily practice. And guess what? Inside the day, there are plenty of times. Now, that doesn't mean that you have to be fanatical and that every second of every day you have to be watchful and you have to be concentrating at the expense of everything else. No, go have fun, have play, enjoy yourself, but realize that every moment throughout the day is an opportunity to transform. So when you're out, you're doing something and the crap hits the fan, understand, hey, I have an opportunity to be blessed right now. May not seem like one. I wonder what the good's going to come from this. But if your first thought is, crap, this sucks. Now I got, it's kind of like when you pay your bills, are you glad that you have some money to pay your bills, whatever that money is, that the universe trusts you with that? Or do you go, shoot, this sucks? Because if it sucks, it will always suck. It's not going to change on its own. You get that? That was a lesson I had to learn. I'd go, I hate bills. I hate it when the bills come. Every time I go to the mailbox and get my mail, I go, oh, another bill, oh, God. Another. Now I celebrate them. I go, oh, you know what? The universe wants me to pay for this. That's just cool. I don't know how yet. I don't know where the money's going to come from, but I know that it's going to happen. I know I'll create it in some fashion. I know I'm going to do this. In other words, if you choose to be abundant, if you choose to be positive, then be positive. And you have plenty of opportunities to do that. It's that candle. Remember, you get knocked off base, you come back to the flame. You get knocked off base of your positivity, you come back to the flame. Don't kick yourself. Don't berate yourself. Of course, if that's what you do, when you're done doing, come back to the flame. Come back to your positivity. That's how you transform. Your transformation comes about by your actions, not by knowing more. It's not from reading another book if you don't put it into practice. That's why transformation's simple, not necessarily easy all the time, but it's simple. There's simple principles that allow you to transform when you begin to understand and appreciate the principles. So life gives you daily practice in transforming yourself. And I attempt to continue to remind you about this. Now, it's easy, too, to see who's teachable and who isn't, and who acts and who makes excuses and who dives in and who dips their toes. I mean, that's part of the relationship that we have. Are you jumping in? Are you making it happen? Are you giving your all, or are you gonna go, well, whatever? It'll be whatever you think it is. Just get it? It'll be whatever you make it to be. Get it? If you change your mindset, your behaviors will follow. So you have to work on your mindset, or it's desirable to work on your mindset, because your mindset rules, and it affects your feelings, and your feelings affect your mindset. They go hand in hand. If you think a crappy thought, you're going to feel crappy, and then you're more likely to think another crappy thought. And if you think a positive thought and you feel positive, then you're more likely to think a positive thought. So you change your mindset, your behavior follows. You act as if, and you help change your mindset. So when you don't feel like it, and when you get doubtful and you get fearful and you get worried, that's a sign that, guess what? It's time to change. That's that warning signal. I had my car, all the warning lights in my car went off. I don't know if I wrote about this in my blog or I mentioned it. All the warning lights in my car went off one night while driving with my daughter. I was like, oh, wow, okay. So a little while later, they all went off again. I didn't lose any power, didn't lose the lights, nothing happened, just all the warnings, alerts went off on the dash. I'm like, wow, that's strange. A little while later, they go off again. I call my mechanic to find out the mechanic closed a month ago, shut down totally without warning, didn't tell me, didn't do anything. They got all my receipts, all my bills, all my warranties, everything. And I'm like, okay, I have an opportunity to find out what's going to happen now. Who's my new mechanic? I found the most incredible mechanic about a week or two later, actually. I really did. I just put it out there, said, I need a new mechanic. The guy is incredible. He checked out my car. I had a situation with something else. Oh, the brakes went out. And everybody else wanted a fortune. And I knew what it was. I mean, I researched this on the internet. So I took it to him and I said, hey, this is what I think it is. He said, okay, give me about 20 minutes. Came back and said, no charge. And I was like, well, no, I got to give you something. No, don't worry about it. I'll see you, no worries. I went out and I called the guy that referred me to him and I said, what is he like? What does he do? I got him a gift certificate from a place that I found out that he really liked. So I went back to his shop because he works with other people. And I said, can you come out here? I got another issue with my car. It's inside the cabin. And he walks up to the cabin and he sees this gift certificate on the seat. He's like, oh my gosh, And so he was really happy. I got a mechanic friend for life now as a result of this. I hated losing my old mechanics. They were marvelous. They were incredible, but that's what the world offered. And in its place, I got this incredible new mechanic, and it was like, had the signal lights not gone off, I wouldn't have found that the place had closed at the time. I may not have found this person, I can trace the thread backwards. Who knows? It was just what the world offered. But my point is that, he made me feel good. I wanted to make him feel good. So I got him a gift certificate for something that I knew he would like. And when I went to the place to get it from there, oh, God, he's going to love this. This is amazing. So, you kind of pay it forward. And so pay it forward with yourself. Pay it forward with yourself. Make good things happen for you. Change your mindset, your behaviors follow. Act as if. And you help change your mindset. If you act as if you're already confident, if you act as if you're already healthy, if you act as if you're already wealthy, if you act as if you are already totally and completely resourceful, you help change your mindset and your experience because they're intertwined. Be the change you want to become, and you become it. Wire in these behaviors, and you'll change faster and easier. It's simple, not always easy, but it's simple. So do it, and you will change. Create that opening for you to be who you want to be. I don't tell you to share in the pod for me. I tell you to share in the pod for you. I don't tell you to uplift for me, okay? This is the program. Share, uplift, high vibe, contribute. Stop waiting and start doing. High vibe for all of us, okay? Share from your exuberance, and if you aren't feeling it, help someone else feel it, and soon you will. And if we all are high vibing in the pod, think of the energy we're creating together. You know, there's 5, 8, 10 of us, or other pods, 5, 10, 8 people here, 10 people there. You know, we're creating a tribe of high vibe people. Encourage and uplift, share your insights, big or tiny. It doesn't matter the size or the length of them. What matters is that you do it regularly. You make it a habit. You live, you laugh, you love, you play. Get it? High vibe. Truly high vibe. And believe in yourself. I operate from the Bible verse that all things work together for good. Now, the Bible verse says all things work together for good to those who love God or who are called according to his purpose. Well, whether you're Christian or not. If you think of it as source, if you think of it as universe, if you think of it as Christian, I don't care what you choose to think. But all things work together as good. All things work together for good. So we don't know what's off in the future for us yet, but it's all for our good. Your source, you're the creator. That's what I look at. I go, I'm creating this. And sometimes I create a pretty messy soup. And sometimes I create absolute gloriousness. If I label a messy soup, I get to wallow in it. You know, and obviously who wants to wallow in a messy soup? You know, you'd rather feel glorious all the time. But the point is what I've said all along tonight and in each of the sessions. When you embrace, imbibe, actually become someone who, and you already are this person, you've been conditioned out of it. So all you're doing is finding yourself. You're finding your true self. You're finding your higher self, whatever you call that higher self. If you be it in advance, you will become it. So you think and you talk and you walk and you behave as if you're already that which you want to be. Again, think, talk, walk, and behave as if you're already that which you want to be. So if you're already wealthy, then you share that in the pod with other people. Now, again, you don't have to go out into the real world, and make declarations to people who might shoot you down. I wouldn't recommend that. But to people who think like you, who support you, who want to help you grow, then allow yourself to grow into your positive expectations by expecting the best. Get it? Expect the best. Know that things work together for good. Even if it seems to be a problem at this moment, it's a blessing and it's a marvelous opportunity for you. So if you were enlightened, and by enlightened, I mean if you were what you want to be, whether that's rich or smart or confident or way less or way more, you know, be healthier, or whatever it is that you want a home, you want to be a homeowner, how would you feel if you were already there? Say you had all the money you needed. How would you feel if you had all the money that you could ever need or want? You feel peaceful, relaxed, happy, free, fearless, confident, in control, powerful, positive, grateful, content, abundant, generous. whatever you would feel, be it first, and you become it. You live it in the present, and then everything follows. This is how you create your best life ever. You don't wait for your best life to come to you. You start living your best life. This by design. You design your life. You find out who you are, and you express it. And as you express it, it begins with the inner, and it creates the outer. You outpicture your destiny. You fulfill it by being it first. It works this way, and it works because you know what you want, you know what your purpose is, you know what your outcomes are, and you continue to move for them by accepting that you already have them. I think I shared it in one of the sessions that we had, but when people climb mountains, and I don't mean rock climbing mountains, but when they trek up a mountainside, a hike, they tell you, and they tell bikers to do the same thing, to look at their feet or look at a couple feet ahead of them. Look at the pedals, look at the ground, a few feet in front of you. Not at the peak. You want to get to the peak. You want to get to the top. You want to crest the mountain or the hillside, but you don't want to look at it, because if you look at it, you're constantly evaluating how far you are from it. Even as you're moving closer, you're like, I'm not there yet. I got so far to go. But if you look at the ground, you only have 1 or 2 steps to take. So you don't notice the incline. So you're not allowing your mind to trick you out of doing it or think that it's hard, because you're not calibrating to the height or the distance or the difficulty. You're just taking one step after the next. And that's the same thing here. You become it first and you live it, and then everything follows. It begins with the inner, and you create the outer. So you might want to be ultimately wealthy. You might want to be a millionaire, a billionaire. You might want to be, your ideal weight. Act as if you already are, and then take your steps one at a time towards your ultimate goal. Whether you're rich or poor, you're going to have problems. Everybody does. It's all the same. The question is, do you want problems and obstacles as a poor, unhappy person, or as a wealthy, happy person? Right? I mean, think about it. It's your choice. It's always your choice. How do you want to experience the difficulty? See, your beliefs have been formed through your conditioning and your experience. So let's say I've talked about a mechanic earlier. Let's say you have an experience of a mechanic ripping you off. So then you believe mechanics are crooks. That's your experience, right? That determines how you're going to interact with other mechanics in the future. And each experience creates and reinforces the belief. You walk and you look, your nonverbal communication shows you your beliefs, So in order to change, you must first change your beliefs. You either have an experience with somebody who gives you a counterexample. Wow, you know what? Not all mechanics are crooks. And that's what NLP comes along to challenge. All mechanics are crooks. Every single one. All that. How do you know? Those kinds of things. Well, we can talk more about NLP stuff, but point is that you have a counter experience. Well, you can create that counter experience for yourself by being the change you want to be in advance of it. In order to change, you got to change your belief. Your beliefs produce your behaviors. So you change the experiences you had in order to have new experiences. Get it? So your beliefs cause you to act in certain ways and not in other ways. So your beliefs set the parameters and limits of your world. So what is it you want to believe? If you believe you can't, you won't. And if you believe you can't afford it or you can't do it, you won't. You attract more of the same events and circumstances and people to support that belief. Like attracts like. Birds of a feather flock together. Mindset matters. So you take it away from what you don't want and put it on what you do want. If you're not behaving how you want to behave, only you can make that difference. Only you can change it. And you may not feel like it, so you do it anyway. You don't have to feel like it in order to do it. And I mentioned this before, Muhammad Ali said plenty of times when I didn't feel like training, but I did it anyway because I knew that the payoff was great. That's why you want to grab hold of your thinking, because if you allow yourself to run by how you feel, and your feelings are part of, and your thinking is part of this old past previous conditioning that is less than glorious and negative, then guess what you get? You get to be the same as you always were. And if that's okay with you, great. But if you want to be different, and my guess is that we all do, if you want to be different, then you have to do things differently. So new choices means that you have new behaviors, which means you get new experiences. And then this becomes new part of the positive automatic programming. You become new by the renewing of your mind. So you get to decide to choose what you believe, and then you aim your behaviors at your beliefs. You create new ones and act from these. Repetitions the mother of skills. So you repeat it, you repeat it, you repeat the new positive experiences, which create the new patterns and habits. Success breeds success. Failure breeds failure. Lack never produces plenty. Plenty produces plenty. You think, you talk, you walk, you act, and behave as if you have plenty already, even when the circumstances are otherwise. That's the training. That's why when everything around you seems to be going to crap, that you're able to stay focused on that flame, that you know that everything works together for good, that you know you are resourceful, that you know that all things will work out, that you are choosing this. How you think, how you walk, how you talk becomes natural to you. You choose what you choose to believe in, and you take charge. See, you're more than your beliefs. So you're bigger than your problems. You are other than your thoughts. You are not your feelings. You're the creator of all of these, and you're settling for crap if you're not living like a king. Create your best life ever. Do the simple exercises. It may not happen overnight, but it'll happen. Just know that you're more powerful than your limitations, and that you will triumph. Move forward. Don't wait. Don't look at the pinnacle and how far it is. Look at the steps you can do daily that get you closer to where you want to be. Be more powerful than your limitations. Become the person who believes you can do this. Be the person who believes in yourself. Be a person who believes you will prevail no matter what. And as you do, everything starts working together. Everything will start to work together. Get up every morning with the, here's the thing. Think about it. Your first thought in the morning sets the tone for the day. Your last thought before you go to bed sets your mind for how you sleep. So if you wake up in the morning and go, I love being alive. This is great. I feel fabulous. That's very different than going, oh, shit, I need some coffee. I'm tired. I can't stand this. Oh, my God, I got to go to work. Take charge of yourself. Take charge of your thinking. Explode into your day positively. And when you go to bed at night, think about the best things that happen. Think about the love, the peace, the positivity. Think about how you helped somebody else, how you uplifted somebody. Count your blessings. Be grateful. Feel fabulous. And go to bed with an intention that tomorrow you're going to have a fabulous day. And when you get up in the morning, you're going to think, I love my life. You create your best life ever. And you, like Pollyanna, assign meaning to any and all circumstances. Tim says, I've been using Mind Design to increase my abundance and health, wealth, and time. It's been very helpful. Absolutely. Fabulous, Tim. Awesome. Absolutely. Yeah, but see, that's just it. Use it. Put it to work. Put yourself to work. Each and every one of you. So, any final thoughts from the people in the chat room? I think we'll close this out for now, but now use the pods. Use these times to the pod to share and to uplift, as I've said. Make it the highest vibe spot. create the pod because it's your pod. It's your pod. It's for you. This is your experience. It's your life. Take charge. Make it the high vibe, most positive, powerful, fabulous pod ever. Okay? Share your goodness with the other people there, because the more you give it away, the more you pour value onto the people around you, the more you get it back. The more you feel it inside, because it comes from who you are. And who are you? You're a person who has all the resources already within you. NLP didn't originate that. That's been a thought for centuries and centuries and centuries. Okay? You have all the resources within you to make any change, to live in any way that you want. Got that? You have, and you are an incredible, wonderful, beautiful, absolutely perfect human being. You are the expression you chose to be in this lifetime. Celebrate it. It's all a blessing. Be grateful and be enthused. And don't let anything distract you from being who you can be, because who you can be is who you already are. You just allow it, you receive it, you accept it, you do the little things that you do each day, and it gets closer and closer and closer and closer. And transformation can in an instant be magnificent, especially if you begin to practice celebrating all the little moments, all the little blessings, and stop going, oh, I was on the freeway this morning and this guy cut me off at dinner time. It doesn't matter. It was hours ago. But that's what most people carry around. They carry all the baggage and all the hurts and all the wounds of their entire life. Why? Because that's what they've been conditioned to do. And understand that these wealthy people I talked about earlier, who don't accomplish much because everything has been easy for them, realize that all of the tough times, all of the very tough, difficult times, all of the boring, mundane, dull times, all of the people who are pricks and assholes and jerks and whatever, they're all there for your good. They're all there to help transform you. The fool learns from no one, but the wise person can learn from the fool. You can learn from the people who hate you the most. I'm not saying you have to interact with them. But if you're sitting home thinking about them and what a dickhead they are, then you're not creating a high vibe. Do you get that? You're creating a low vibe. You're creating dickheadedness in your life. So if that's what you want, that's what you get more of. And that's a notion to keep in mind. What is it I want? Remember? What do I want right now? You ask the question, this isn't what I want. What do I want? It's fine to know what you don't want. I don't want to be arguing with the barista in the coffee shop. What do you want? I want to be getting along. Well, then how do you make that happen? How can that happen? What do you have to do? Don't expect them to change. What do you have to do to change yourself? Maybe it's go to a different coffee shop. Maybe it's say, you know what, I'm sorry. I've been a dick. Okay? You know what? I really like to get along with you. And they might go, I don't care. Go screw yourself. All right? What do you do with that? What do you do with that? That is the pressure cooker. That is the steam inside the tea kettle. That is the dammed up, energy, the potential, the kinetic, the energy there. What that is designed to help you discover more of who you are. If you think that way. If you think, oh, it's just some random jerk being an asshole in the world and I have no control over circumstances because they just happen. Well, if you put that frame on it, you get to suffer more. Be Pollyanna. Okay? Find the good in everything. Okay? Look at the world for all the blessings hidden inside of each and every second. Because that's where they are. Now, you have to act. You can't sit on the lotus flower in a meditative pose and be blissful all the time, because you still do have to pay your bills and you do have to go to work or whatever it is that you do. So that's part of it, okay? That's what you chose. And until you choose differently, continue to do what you do and add your awareness to it. Add the good stuff to it. Celebrate everything. Okay? Create. You don't have to tolerate stuff. I mean, we have tech problems. I don't have to sit here and go, well, it's okay, I have tech problems. You find a different format, right? Or figure out how to resolve it. It's all good. If we don't use this platform in the future, it'll still be good. If we use it again and again and again, it'll still be good. Okay? So what I'm getting at is have a great life. Make it sumptuous each and every moment. Have fun. Don't take it so seriously. And don't take your learning so seriously. I'm glad that we had this opportunity. I'd love to find a way to, in real time, get more feedback. Are there any? Here, I'll tell you what. I'm going to close, and I'll give you a minute if you want to type. If you have a question or anything into the chat room, I'll answer a question or two, or however many questions I get. But if I don't get a question in the next minute or two, we'll call it. All right, because that's up to you. I so love what's going on in the pod and the pods and the people who are joining us, and it's up to each of us to make good things happen. And it comes from the mindset of being a creator and being a victor and being a champion, and the mindset of I make things happen as opposed to things happen to me. And when things happen to you that you don't want or expect, okay, why did I choose this? I don't know. What's the lesson in it for me? What's the blessing? Okay. It's amazing because it's all about what meaning you assign to it. Do you get that? It's what you choose to believe about it. And you might be believing out of old limiting conditioning, or paying attention to what's going on in the world through social media or through television or through music or through a person yelling at you on the freeway or wherever it is. You can change any moment. You can absolutely change how you feel about any situation at any time by changing how you think about it. You and you alone, no one else, has authority over your life or your mind or your inner thoughts and your being. So you determine every second how it is and how it will be. And you know what? If it sucked up till now, so be it. That was all part of it. Never use anything I ever say to rag on yourself. Use it to celebrate and move yourself forward. Do you get that? Allow yourself to celebrate. If you've been, screwing around doing something and it hasn't been working out, you don't like the results you've been getting, you go, you know what? Something in that to learn. I wonder what it is. What lesson is there for me? What do I want? What lesson is there for me? What do I want? How can I find the good? What's the good? What can I celebrate? I'm blessed in so many ways. There we go. I often wonder how the whole process of manifesting works. I mean, in regards to the mechanics of it all. What are my thoughts? Oh, great question, Tim. Well, first off, I am going to be doing a course in law of attraction and manifesting, but we're covering that right now. I mean, there's so much overlap between these things. If you think about it, it's kind of like it's all one thing, and they're all very basic, simple principles. They're just applied in different directions or in different areas. But mind design is a practice in manifesting what you want. It's about bringing and bringing together and attracting and creating from the inside out. And that's what manifesting, that's what the law of attraction is about. Birds of a feather flock together. But the thing is that too many people think about it as I'm going to attract something to me as opposed to what I'm creating. And that is the difference that makes the difference. You create. You weren't born to be an attractor. You are an attractor, but you weren't born to be an attractor. You were born to create and be a creator. You procreate. You create. Anything and everything in the human world that exists, from this rubber band to this bottle to my phone to the computer that you're watching me on, all first started here. And it became manifested. It didn't get attracted to people. Thank you, Mark. Thanks to one and all. And so yes, in the law of attraction course, which you will get as being part of the beta program, we'll cover that. We'll cover more of it. But there will be overlap. You will see that there's going to be overlap, and it's not for any other reason other than we're kind of talking the same thing from different directions. Does that make sense? We're looking at things from different directions or different aspects of the same thing. And mind design, I mean, think about it. Mind design, it's create your best life ever, is about manifesting your best life. And it starts with the thinking. And it starts with the thinking and the feeling and the behaving. And you master the basics that we're talking about here, you'll find out how much easier it is to manifest in general. The abundance and the health and the wealth, because it's all connected. It's not separate. It is connected. And it's about learning to focus and learning to vibe high and have fun and let go and receive. So everything that you've gotten in these first 4 or 5 sessions here, and the Tesla session and everything, is all also about manifesting. It's just not the law of attraction program that we're doing. And there will be some differences, obviously. But there's a significant amount of overlap that what you're getting. Oh, thank you. Yeah, no, they're not going to waste, and you're welcome. You're welcome. So if there aren't any other questions, I wish you all a fabulous time. And more programs are going to come. We wanted to start this webinar system because the platform we're developing hopefully will be done soon, and then you'll have a library where all of these are part, the different programs, and the Mind Design program will have all of the videos in one library section, and the Tesla will be in the section, and the law of attraction will be in the, and you'll have access to that as part of the beta program. So now, as I was telling, I said the other day in the pod, now would be the time if you have friends who you want to get into the beta program, tell them now to join us. You should spread the word, let them know, share it, share your positive experiences with people, vibe high, be an attractor, let them, see like the light on the hill, the moth to the flame. Let them come to you because you're living such a positive, wonderful, fabulous life, and you're getting value, and you're liking what you're getting from the Mind Design program. Then, sorry, my phone. Then share it and have them join us while we are still in the beta mode. We're going to end the beta mode. That doesn't mean it ends for you. It just means that offer will change for people out there. And we've been extending it because we're still working on the platform. So they can get in now while the getting is good, and they can get in. So do it. Spread the word. Let's grow these pods. And hey, Ponzi, I didn't see Ponzi tonight. We need some more women in this particular pod, don't you think? And that would be nice for Ponzi. So, all right. Anyway, much love. Namaste. Have a great, great, great day. I'll see you in the pods. We'll do more very soon in terms of the programs, but also in the pods and Facebook Live videos. And thanks for sharing, Tim, and everybody who shares my blogs to other people and spreads the word. God love you. I mean, that is so cool. That helps me get the word out to other people. That helps them. I can't tell you how many times people go, you know what, the blog came to me at just the right time. A friend shared it. Somebody gave it to me. I was going through a tough time, and I happened to read this particular article, and it changed everything for me. I mean, that to me is one of the reasons why I do it. It's so cool to be able to put that out there for people and have that energy. And that's all part of, you create what you want to create. You give what you want to get. So I want to give people the opportunity to transform their lives because it's so fabulously wonderful. It again goes back to one of my favorite sayings that you can light 1,000,000 candles off of just one candle. But that candle, your candle, needs to be lit first. So light your candle so that all can see, and we'll light 1,000,000 candles off of it. We'll attract we'll create all sorts of wonderful people, and we'll help transform the world person by person. Okay? My pleasure, much love. We'll be getting it. And once the platform is up and running, that will be such a gift. It'll be easier to schedule these things on a regular basis too. That's been part of it, where we've had try to do things through email and stuff like that. But once the platform is up, there's a certain amount of work that still has to happen constantly, but there's a certain amount of automation where we say, okay, we did this webinar and it's there, go to it, or we did this webinar, it's coming up, join us. So I'm looking forward to that. But anyway, peace, love, blessings. Love you all. Have a great night. See you in the pod. And you know what? If you got some value from this, because we're having trouble with our chat room and people aren't chatting, share it. Share your insights from tonight's session in the pod. And don't be stingy. Be generous. Be lavish. Be verbose. Let us know. See, the more you outpour and the more you give, the more you do get. The more that you share for others to receive, the more you receive, whether immediately or from another source. It doesn't always come back, reciprocal point per point. I shared with Bob, Bob shares with me. Sometimes it comes from Sally, all right? But the point is be expressive, be lavish, live large, be bigger than your problems, and be a giant of abundance and give. And then you get more. You get more love, you get more appreciation, you get more abundance, you get more health, you get more enjoyment, because what you've done is spread good things for other people. And when you spread good things for other people, it's like planting seeds in your garden. You feel good when you start seeing those seeds sprout. And one single seed can produce a plant that produces billions of other seeds. Think about that. One apple tree creates an apple, and in that apple are multiple seeds. And on that tree might be hundreds of apples. And over the life of the tree, which could be 20 years or 50 years, produce countless millions of seeds. So never underestimate yourself. Be generous. Give. Vibe high. Live well. Have fun. Namaste.